first one on my blood thinner stuff. I had horrible headaches forever.
All right, everybody. Good. We'll go ahead and get started with the Evans Redevelopment Agency meeting for September 5th, 2023. I'll call the meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chairman Clark,
Here.
Commissioner Castle,
Here.
Commissioner Spears,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson,
Present.
Commissioner Neal,
Present.
Commissioner Morrison.
Here.
All right. Any changes to the agenda? All right, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Okay, next item number 1, consent agenda approval of the August 15th, 2023 Evans Redevelopment Agency meeting minutes.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second.
I have a motion is second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item number 2, consideration of a redevelopment agreement at the southwest corner of 31st Street and Highway 85, and we will hear from staff.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Brian Stone, Economic Development Director, here this evening to discuss the redevelopment agreement. As we talked in executive session, was the reimbursement agreement for the southwest corner of 31st Street and Highway 85. This reimbursement would allow for the ERA to reimburse Flexible Evans for some improvements they will do on this location. So kind of just to hit on what we talked about last time, back in 21, we did hire the master developer, Flexible Evans, to pursue different development for that site. Back in June of 22, we did approve the purchase and sale agreement with them. So those 2 steps have been completed, and then since our last meeting, they continue to negotiate with developers, and then we negotiated this reimbursement agreement with Flexible Evans. So for this on Southgate Junction, this is going to be lots 1, 2, and 3 are what we're discussing tonight within this reimbursement agreement. So these are the 3 lots that are in that purchase and sale agreement, and then they are going to make the necessary improvements to help with the development of those sites. So within this agreement, some of the major ones within your packet tonight is the full list of what is going to be done, but the roadway is really the big one that's going to connect through there from 31st Street to West Service Road. They'll do some grading and earthwork, the wet and dry utilities, and they actually within this did some improvements on the sites within the right-of-way and stuff. So we'll have a finished product going in to this, as well as some engineering fees. So as we talked last time, back in 2013, the URA was formed. That allows us to use tax incremental financing to help reimburse the developer for this, which in this case is Flexible Evans. So back in 2013, there was a base property tax for these locations. With the new development, obviously the property values are going to go up, and we actually got values from them today, which should repay this TIF reimbursement, get them paid off, as well as put money back into the ERA prior to that 2038 deadline. So right now it's projected about 12 years. After looking at these numbers, I bet we're going to be closer to 9-10 years. So that's going to be great. Then we'll have 3 years to put that back into the ERA. So if that makes sense, the base, like I said, was in 2013. Once they start construction, we will get that incremental financing and property tax to reimburse Flexible Evans. So like we talked about last time, the negotiations of what they're doing. So they're asking or projecting that the total cost for these improvements is going to be right around $2.3 million. Flexible Evans is going to contribute 1.3. That leaves a shortfall of just over $1 million. And then they're also, like we talked last time, asking for interest for this development or for these improvements. So as we discussed, it will be interest will be paid at prime rate plus 2%, not to exceed 7.5%. So As you know, right now, Prime is over that. So within the negotiations of what we discussed, we're sitting better than what we could have been if we were going with Prime rates today. So with lots 1 through 3, so this agreement for TIF reimbursement will be just from 1, 2, and 3, and like we said, lot 4 will remain with the ERA. So we can do whatever we want with that. As that develops, we'll have full 100% either back to the ERA or allow us to reimburse somebody else with incentives from that. If for some reason development does not happen on lots 1 through 3 and they don't generate that 1.4, then they just don't, the 1.7, they don't get that money back. So we only reimburse if money is brought in. So with that, that's really all I have for you this evening. Staff is recommending approval of this agreement and ask for any consideration or questions for your approval on this process.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comment? Actually, I'll have a comment. As it was pointed out, that the first slide did say the junction at Evans, by the way.
Yeah, it did. I was like, look at
So,
that.
anyway, any questions or comments? Go
Could
ahead.
you go back 2 slides or a slide?
Just to the financing.
Yeah. Who's Flexible Evans?
Flexible real estate, it's Rich Hobbs is the master developer. So he's the master developer that we entered into an agreement with in 2021.
Because I thought it had a different name. So, all right.
So it did Flexible Real Estate, and then for this project, they've got Flexible Evans, the second LLC.
Any other questions, comments? If there are none, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve the redevelopment agreement as presented and authorize the chairman to sign the agreement and any documents necessary to carry out the agreement.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, to approve the redevelopment agreement as presented and authorize the chairman to sign the agreement and any documents necessary to carry out the agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, next item, item number 3, easement dedication to the city of Evans by ERA, and we will hear from staff.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So as you know, the plat was approved several months ago, and the design is still in progress. And then the lift station was floating. We didn't know where it was gonna land because they kept changing the location of it. When they finally did land on a location, it's to be located adjacent to 31st Street, just east of the McDonald's parking lot. Access off of 31st Street is problematic. It's not safe. So we asked if in the process of finalizing the approval of the plans, if they would allow us to dedicate an easement through the McDonald's parking lot to get access to the plant, to the lift station, and actually take out some of the landscaping on the one corner so we can actually pull our vac truck or a big truck up to the plant if we need to. They agreed to that, so that's why we have this in front of you. Essentially, it's dedicating an easement from the ERA to the city, which will be formally recorded and put on the plat in the records so that if we ever need to get in there, we have easy access for our guys. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, staff?
So now the landscaping's a lift station.
There'll still be some landscaping, it's just there'll be a lift station as well.
Beautiful. And where's the lift station? Where is it lifting the wastewater to? Is it going out to the east lift station and then gonna be run up there? Where's it connecting to?
It lifts it up to a manhole there at the corner, and then it gravities over to the big lift station at First Avenue, and then back to, there was a lift station there back in the day.
I see, I've asked around and nobody
It was located right
nobody
near,
remembers
right near
where a
the,
lift station was.
right near the entrance directly across from the dollar store. And in like, right, just 10 or 15 feet south of 31st Street. And it
By the
was,
paint store.
yeah. Where, and it was a small old lift station. It was never permitted. It was just built. And because the sewer is only about 4 or 5 feet deep at that corner. So the site was so low, there was no other way to get the sewage out of there. So we're replacing one that existed with a newer and better one.
Any other additional questions, comments? Councilmember
It's
Lee?
good forethought, I guess, to ask them to have access to it. Service. I'm sure it's gonna be needed once in a while.
All right, well, there are no questions or comments. I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the dedication of the utility access easement to the city of Evans as defined on Exhibit A and authorize the chair to sign the dedication document.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the dedication of the utility access easement to the city of Evans as defined on Exhibit A and authorize the chair to sign the dedication document. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, and we will adjourn the ERA meeting, and we will go back to the regularly scheduled city council meeting where we have an executive session. Everybody good, or is there gonna, we'll do this, and if anybody needs a break, we'll take a break. So I would entertain a motion.
Go to executive session. Is she ready? Does she need to? switch
I'm
anything?
sorry, she needs a change over. My bad.
Sorry.
She's leaving after today's meeting to get married. After today's meeting. So yes. Crazy.
All right, thank you.
All right. I move to go into executive session to discuss possible acquisition of real property and to instruct negotiators in connection with such acquisition pursuant to CRS section 24-6-402 subsection 4A and E.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. And we will go into an executive session. If anybody wants, let's take a quick 5-minute break. So if anybody needs to use the restroom or anything, go right ahead. So we'll start back at 8:46. Oh, yeah.
What's her deal?
Oh, I know.
I have no idea what she's
I
talking
was,
about.
I could not even kind of follow it. I'm like,
I
did I
couldn't even
miss
find
something?
out.
Wait, is that the email from that chick?
I have no
I am so
idea.
confused.
What is